Hey Void, how you doing? So, while I am still working through the A's, again I am bouncing a little bit, mostly because I've finally picked up the rest of the Monsterverse, so, let's actually start reviewing some of it. Especially since I did the whole Godzilla binge over the past year, so, let's actually talk about the Legendary series. So, Godzilla 2014. So, this one, well, features a cast that they, a lot of big names that they are quick to get to just, off, so, props? I like them not being afraid to do that, or maybe they just couldn't afford to keep them in for that long. I don't know. Anyway, so, this is set in a world where Godzilla did appear back in '54, but they were unable to slay him then. And, well, now some researchers have discovered some other radioactive creatures that, how do I phrase all this? So, Ken Watanabe plays Serizawa in this as he seems to lead the Monarch Monarch Department, I don't know. Anyway, Monarch is interested in these big anomalies. So they track down and find what looks like some sort of parasite. They find a dormant one, but one that apparently recently hatched. And, well, if you follow its trail, it heads right to a nuclear plant where it proceeds to cause a meltdown. In which case, our lead character's father and mother both work there, and, well, his mother doesn't make it. An atomic fridging right in the first 15 minutes. Anyway, so, cuts to, 15 years later, and he's now a soldier. His father is essentially obsessed with what happened that day, that the government's covering something up, that it wasn't an accident, that it was something unnatural, and is determined to sneak back into the quarantine zone to prove it. Well, so after he gets caught in the quarantine zone, his son has to travel to Japan to bail him out, but he essentially convinces his son that there may be something more to it, and they both go in there and get captured again. But not before seeing some giant cocoon that is emitting pulses, which Bryan Cranston, the father in question, is quick to point out that's just what happened before it went down, so his warning comes about 30 seconds too late, as well a creature hatches and begins a rampage. Now that it hatched, however, another one that thought dormant also hatched, and now we got two monsters called the Mutos, massive unidentified terrestrial organism, are rampaging, and, well, Godzilla seems to have been offended by their presence and has been listening and got up to essentially put these guys down. So, overall, I do like this film. It's kind of a good blend of the Japanese style of essentially with Godzilla being... A lot of people complain that Godzilla's barely in this, and that's true for a lot of early Godzilla films also, so that's not anything unusual, for me anyway. So, until the big fight at the end, yeah, he is downplayed. And I also kind of like the tease buildup of occasionally seeing, the battle going out of the window or on TV. So it just kind of slowly builds up until the climactic battle. And that level of escalation was working for me. Now, normally the Japanese are all about the humans banding together to do a big thing. This one, it goes with the American, one hero kind of thing, as our soldier... Brody is just determined to... Well, it's not so much he's determined to stop this, because he is, but at the same time, he just keeps being in the wrong place at the wrong time and keeps bumping into these monsters fighting, no matter how he's trying to get home to his family. And so along the way, he keeps volunteering for missions just to keep getting himself closer, but also trying to deal with the problem. And the government, of course, is determined to make it worse by trying to lure them around with atomic things that try to blow them up, but, well, they eat atomic energy, so that's not working either. So the government's messing a lot up. The soldiers is just being knocked around just because he's trying to do the right thing. And overall, it's fine. The human characters aren't offensive by any means, but they are forgettable, with the exception of Ken Watanabe's Serizawa. He delivers a good mic drop of a line, and his presence is definitely felt. But everyone else, except for, I guess, Bryan Cranston's father. He has a lot of heart in it, but everyone else's feels more forgettable. Considering you got, like, Elizabeth Olsen in this, she's fine, but she just isn't really given anything to work with. So, yeah, it's fine, but it's not, like, great. The ending fight, though, is cool. And I like the personality to see of Godzilla, just this tired old warrior who's just, okay, he has to come put these little shits down. So, I did like it, but it's nothing special. I'll give it 6 MacGuffins. It's definitely worth seeing if you haven't seen it, but it's not one I go back to very often. But, well, it's the starter movie, so it's fine. I have seen the follow-up Godzilla King of the Monsters, which I did really enjoy, so I can't wait to talk about that one soon. Haven't rewatched it since I started this show, though, so, well, we'll get to that. Alright, I think that's pretty much all on Godzilla 2014. 6 MacGuffins. It's a decent send-up. I've rated Japanese Godzilla films lower than this, so, you know, it's worth it. Bye-bye, everybody.